I'm currently experiencing quite a doozy, which is that I am house sitting and watching a dog and 2 cats. Now this dog, what I did not know before signing up for this opportunity, this dog is emotionally codependent and carries other animalistic impulses, which are very difficult to live with. The emotional codependency, above all things. And then to witness this dog being so completely at the mercy of his animalistic impulses for pleasure, for stimulation, for food. Pleasure, stimulation, food, and emotional codependency are the only things that this being seems capable of caring about. Now, maybe not the only things, because he does listen and he does learn and he is intelligent. But man, these things, these attributes just jump out at me. And as an eternal student of the intersection of animality and humanity, my ears and my mind and my psychoanalytical drive perk up, especially given the circumstances of my feeling stuck in the rat race. And so I ask myself and I ask God, how are these animalistic impulses and these seemingly mechanical patterns of the animal, this animal in particular, how are they related perhaps to the rat race? How are they related to our own animality, which keeps us entrapped in the rat race? So that's a question that I'm going to place here so that you know that it's something that I'm sitting with. But first, I want to dive into another subject, which is that I've been sitting with this idea that reality is a mirror, a divine mirror perfectly crafted by God to mirror back to me parts of myself which I need to look at. That human beings live in this world to experience this divine mirror. And I'm realizing that this mirror in particular, if it is a mirror indeed, this one right here is the one where I'm like, ooh, it touches on some of my deepest wounds, some of my deepest insecurities, some of my deepest uncertainties, uncertainty itself being one of my core wounds. So that as I'm living with this dog and as I'm trying to philosophize and psychoanalyze and understand with my mind, perhaps to protect myself from the deep uncomfortability of the feeling where I feel a little bit stuck, where I told this person, yeah, I can be here for your dog for the next 3 weeks. And now I feel like I've come into an agreement where I can't get out of having to cater to this dog's emotional codependency and his various needs, which are poorly expressed and which he can't really do a whole lot about because he's a dog. So I'm sitting between these two poles. On one hand, I'm like, is this a mirror where I am being asked to perceive certain elements of animality itself and of my own animality and the animacy of that animality within my being, within the mirror that is being presented here, and it is very clear that there is a mirroring element here, because this little dog happens to have this weird fucking little lump right where I got punched in the rib, in this core wound of the stomach that I've been exploring. Stomach, impulse, hunger, relationship to food, relationship to so much of our animality. So we are building the case for the mirroring. And so then I'm being asked by God, how am I currently relating to these mirrored elements of animality? Perhaps, do I have some emotionally codependent elements to me? Do I have certain animalistic impulses and gluttony when it comes to food? Do I sometimes becloud my vision with the pleasure-seeking principle, which telescopically manipulates my vision so that I don't see the broad, vast, infinite picture? Questions to sit with and ponder. And how does it make me feel that an animal with which I am in cohabitation, how does it make me feel when I witness these behaviors? I'll be honest with you, a lot of the time it has been very irritating. And I tell this dog, like, no, you go here. And then he just follows me right back. And I'm like, no, I told you to stay over there. And I like get a little snappy. And so that snappiness, is it symptomatic of an anger, of an irritation, of unintegrated pain with which my mind, my soul, my being communicate, relate to my own animality, to my own emanations of these drives, of these behaviors, which are here presented to me in the mirror of reality? Am I, just like I mentioned in the video about my heart, am I, for example, speaking to my heart, to my animal, to my earthly heart, in a way that negates, in a way that is frustrated, in a way that is tired, in a way that is angry? And am I then being invited to learn a new approach? These are frustrating behaviors that I see from this dog. So how can I approach them with both love and boundaries, as well as clear mental masculine commands? Because this dog listens. This dog, if I tell him like, hey, no, you go here, you go sit in this corner, you sit on this blanket, you sit on this couch, you don't sleep on the bed with me, he listens. And he has these patterns and his habits that he has been embodying his whole life, and he will probably continue to embody with his mama, that I don't have space for. So he's all confused. He's like, well, what am I supposed to do? I'm used to something else. So how can I be in a place of compassion with his dog? How can I embody the compassion? And then simultaneously with love and boundaries, which are not cruelty. It is just, I don't have the space for this. Therefore, I'm going to put you in your own space at times, which just means I close the door to my bedroom. And he's like, ah, ah. Not like that. He just whimpers a little bit and whines. But yeah. at the same time, I've been waking up. I'm just venting. I've been waking up to this dog's attempts to get into my bedroom at 6 a.m. every morning, and then barking and crying. Not because it's time to go out and like he desperately needs to go out. He wants the emotional feeding. Like, the moment that I first allowed this to happen, I felt immediately emotionally drained when I allowed this dog to wake me up, because he like comes to love, but his love is taking. It's not a reciprocal giving love. And I do believe there are dogs and cats and animals who love differently, and this is a particular case. And I don't want to universalize, be like, oh, is all love just an attempt at extracting from another the needs that you cannot fulfill within yourself? That is, in fact, something that humanity is struggling with very deeply. And a lot of people confuse love with extraction. And so does that kind of love come from our animality? Is a question with regard to the rat race. Because then the rat race is a gigantic system of mutual extraction, not built upon innate reciprocity, but built upon extraction for unfulfilled needs. So that's one of the questions and the answers that I'm kind of wrestling with. Is that what's going on? And so in the nuance of this conversation, this is not about animal and rational. This is not about animal and human. This is about the subtleties of our own animality as much as the subtleties of any individual dog's animality, of any like tiger or any zebra or any seagull. Parentheses, I'm just gonna keep flowing. I forget where I was going. I got to the beach after some like feeling into this and feeling very appalled by it. I got to the beach and I walked upon some seagulls, and the seagulls didn't like that, and they started diving and attacking me. They started diving for my head and being like, yo dude, you just came into our space. And so I'll go straight from walking this dog and having like a, dude, I didn't enjoy this at all. This was like you were trying to pull me every which way, and go hang out, go interact with a homeless dude. And then I go from that to the beach, and a seagull starts to try to attack my head. And I watched this same seagull, when I escaped, try to dive for other dudes who were on the beach just having a good time, and that seagull was trying to attack them. And I'm like, what is going on here? What is this? What is this mirror reality that I'm experiencing? What elements of me are being presented back to me in this way? Is some part of my animality absolutely batshit fucking crazy, gluttonous, possessed by these instincts and impulses that it cannot control, that I cannot control? Some thoughts. Now, I began by saying a few minutes ago that this is one pull. Is this all a mirror? The other pull is like, yo, this is fucking intolerable. This is unacceptable. And somehow I've placed myself in this situation without knowing that's what I was getting myself into. And I better get the fuck out of here, because I'm getting into some emotional enmeshments with energies that I do not want in my being. Now, to elaborate on this, the emotional codependency of this dog is this is a 10-year-old dog, so I assume that this dog has been cultivating this emotional codependency with its mama for the past 10 years, and thus there has been a symbiotic and co-constitutive relationship between their hearts, where the wounds that I'm feeling in this dog, where the energies that I'm feeling in this dog, where the extractive grasping that this dog expresses towards me, it carries also the energy of his mother. So I'm not only in this emotional relationship that I'm drawing very strong boundaries with this dog, but also with this dog's mama. And I am also living very close to downtown, and I personally cannot stand living in cities. And I wake up in the morning and I'm walking this dog and it's all concrete, and I'm like, what the fuck? I feel the energetics of the city like all over. And this is where this discourse that is very new agey of it's all a mirror, bro. Even the most atrocious evils in the world, such as war, such as sacrifice, such as all of these things that need not be named, because all of us know of them. Not all of us, but those of us who need to know or choose to know, that is a mirror of our own internal shadow, as opposed to some interdimensional hijack, let's say, or to some, oh shit, I missed the exit. Like colonialists who go into certain countries and then fuck over the indigenous population and then enslave them and then blame them for their weakness. Like this kind of shit. I don't like those who will see how these things are related. Speak my language. So let me know if you see that, because I don't want to just sound insane. Oh my God. But I'm really glad, because I was struggling to express all of this, and now I feel like I am able to. So that I'm finding myself living in, yet again, an intolerable situation. And I'm asking God, like, why is this happening? Why can't it just be easy and graceful? What part of me am I being asked to integrate that will make me worthy of just like very simple necessities being met of housing? Why do I put myself in these situations that are like, no, housing is going to be a tough one for you? And is this a situation where, like, okay, I'm drowning in city energy. I am struggling to have boundaries with an emotionally codependent dog containing parts and fragments of its human owner's soul in it. So am I supposed to just draw the boundary of like, okay, no, I actually do not have the space for this. I'm getting the fuck out. So I'm sitting with this really deep conflict, which, as I said, is symptomatic and representative of a far deeper conflict, and many far deeper conflicts which I carry deep within myself, which are concerning this idea of the fall and of why God allows evil to exist on earth if he's omnipresent, omniscient, omnibenevolent, and all these things. I hope it's clear to some of you, if not all of you, how this ties to the problem of evil. And if it's not clear, then I need to clarify it. So those are the two poles, which hopefully I've made clear enough. And I'm also in my quote-unquote uncertainty wound, stuck in the uncertainty between, is it either or is it both and? Is it either a mirror or this is intolerable and fucked up and I need to get out of here? Or is it both a mirror and this is intolerable and fucked up and I need to get out of here? I lean towards it's a little bit of both. Just as the rat race itself is intolerable and fucked up, and I need to get out of here. And that is where I began this video expressing I believe this is tied to the rat race, where I do believe the mirroring element is inviting me to witness certain animalistic impulses about myself, which do keep me entrapped in the rat race. For example, this is some, as they say on the internet, schizo-maxing. A lot of people would not understand all the threads that I'm weaving together. Okay, I'm gonna park so I can finish this thread. The orcas at SeaWorld that I went to see in 2019. They live in these small pools and they do all these tricks like jumping out of the water, floating on their tails, flips, all this stuff. How do human beings, or whatever is controlling the human beings who are controlling the orcas, how do human beings get the orcas, these giant whales that could absolutely destroy them? How do they manipulate these beings? How do they control these beings to do what they are told, to do flips, to do tricks, to become entertainment as opposed to wild and free? How does domestication occur? How does domestication of wildness occur? How does domestication of the absolute magnificence of an orca take place? It is through treats and food and hunger. How does the domestication of humanity take place? How does the rat race take place? How do human beings behave in ways that mimic the behavior of a scrounging rat? It is from a place of hunger. It is because they want to gnaw at the bones and the scraps of whatever they fucking can get, because they are desperate. Both the orca, the rat, both the dog and the human, all in this fucking rat race, which perhaps is not just a rat race, but is perhaps samsara, is perhaps some Saturnian demiurgic system. I've used keywords that I shouldn't. But, yeah, exploring this. And so, if I want to break free from the rat race and I see this dog and how it is so motivated by like, oh, do you want a little treat? Do you want a little treat? Do you want your food at this time and this time and this time to drown out your emotionless sorrows? How in the world are human beings behaving in this way? Do they go get burritos? Have I gone to go get burritos? Do they go get pastries? Have I eaten pastries to fill an emotional void? Do they go drink? Do they go create gigantic systems and networks rooted in scarcity and survival to treat themselves, to give themselves little treats? Do humans do this to one another, or is there some force, some powers and principalities that dangle these treats like a carrot and stick in front of us to keep us in the hamster wheel? I spoke of this dog's emotional codependency. This dog is not connected to the love within its own heart. And I suspect the owner is not connected to the love within her own heart, which is where sovereignty dwells. Connect the mind with the heart. Connect the soul with the mind, with the heart. Be in harmonious homeostasis. And then you have sovereignty. Sovereignty, which with discipline can overcome the temptations to fall for the treats of the nefarious multiplier, of the demiurgic hamster wheel, of the samsaric ceaseless cycle of life and death. And always grasping, reaching externally for love that should be found within. In what ways have I been looking for love in all the wrong places? In what ways have you been looking for love in all of the wrong places? And how have these external seekings actually been subtle or not so subtle? Ways of staying entrapped within these cycles. The hamster wheel, the rat race, the city concrete, the suffocation, the lack of emotional needs and security being met. There's some fire in all that. So, will I be getting the fuck out of this? I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to write about it. I'm going to sit with it, and we're going to see. I will be getting out of all this, the rat race, in some way, one way or another. It's going to happen. Because here's how I was trying to begin this video earlier, but struggling. It seems the rat race is designed to chew you up and spit you out. It seems that cities are designed to chew us up and spit us out. Perhaps there is a relation between this chewing and this gnawing of the rat and this desire to fill the need of hunger and fill the void of the stomach. Perhaps. All of these are just coincidences. There couldn't possibly be some synchronistic meaning to all of this. Go trust the scientific materialists. They have it all down. They know that it's all just coincidence and randomness. So everything that I've just said, take it with a grain of scientific salt. What was I going to say? The rat race and the city are designed to chew us up and spit us out. The soul is designed to transcend and overcome. with the sovereignty and the power of your soul and the sovereignty and the power of your prayer, you are able to overcome these limitations, to overcome these cages, to overcome these confinements, to overcome these absolute insanities which try to keep you stuck in numbness, in avoidance of feeling, in avoidance of pain, in avoidance of emotion, and in avoidance of your own heart and of your own soul. Choose your soul, choose truth, choose prayer, choose God, and dedicate yourself to ridding yourself of attachments to temptation and vice and the little treats that the nefarious multiplier will try to dangle in front of your eyes and heart like a carrot and stick. And say no to these things and say yes always to God. I will end with one more thing. That this is not just about mind and heart and stomach. This also deeply, 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 deeply connects to lust. Because that dog, though it has had its balls cut off, I'm sure if it had its balls, then it would be a whole other story. And there would be both light and shadow to him having his seed rather than being castrated. Here's where I was bringing this in. Yesterday at the farmer's market, I made eye contact with a physically beautiful woman, and she was giving me the flirtatious gaze, and very locked in. And I was like, "What are you doing? Like, are you what's going on here?" And admittedly, there was some attraction there, and she was wearing a red yoga outfit. All to say that I had an encounter with the woman in the red dress from the Matrix. And that was exactly what she was in that moment. So these temptations, these carrots on the sticks that the nefarious multiplier, the agent Smith, will dangle before your eyes to try to manipulate the orca within you that wants to roam wild and free within the ocean womb waters of the world, to do just flips and tricks for entertainment at SeaWorld. It will use lust to try to keep you entrapped in the hamster wheel, in the cage, in the system of control. And lust is one that you need to learn to harmonize, not suppress, not repress, not completely surrender, but develop a harmonious relationship with it. And it does begin with discipline, and it does begin with choice, and it does begin with saying no to pornography, if you are one of those people that does watch it. So how that conversation turned into that thread, we won't ask how. We're going to end it there because apparently I could ramble on and on and on and on and on about this. And I'm really glad I did, because it was stuck. It was stuck in me, and I was having a hard time with it. So thank you. Many blessings to you. May you be free, may you be loved, and may you say no to the temptations that will try to keep you, that will try to take you away from Christ.